Hey, what's up, community? This is Sociologist Ray. Look, as you all know, I love movies. I love films. Just got finished watching Nope by Jordan Peele. What are my top 5 sociological takeaways from the film? Well, first, look, the plot. The plot pretty much centers around a family, a brother and a sister trying to get what they call the Oprah shot. I found the Oprah shot interesting because it suggests that we could take one moment and go viral, not only become famous, but also get paid. For some people that happens, but for most people it doesn't. It requires a very lengthy grind. And even in the film, we saw them trying to grind to get that Oprah moment. Now, of course, the big part of the plot is that at the beginning of the film, the brother and sister, their father got killed randomly by something falling out of the sky, and they start trying to figure it out. And they realize that it has something to do with an alien form, some sort of spaceship or something in the sky that drops things out of the sky and kills people. Now, there's also this back plot about a killer monkey, that a chimpanzee who literally killed everybody except for this one kid on a TV show. And supposedly that banned chimpanzees from being in movies. Look, all I gotta say, with all the stuff that's going on with different sort of animals, they doing all kind of stuff. Look, you just gotta stop messing with animals. Now, this is saying a lot from a person who has taken his family to do things like play with baby lions and look at lions and walk elephants. But that was a different time period. Now we in the post getting into COVID time period. And look, all I know is animals are like, you all are taking away our planet. And so therefore we are going to respond. They have also encroached on our space as things got quiet during COVID. But nonetheless, that's beyond the point. Now, one of the other parts of the plot is there is a brother and a sister, Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer, who are playing a brother and a sister role. And of course, that's a classic trope in film. You have a brother and a sister siblings who are being raised by their father. I did an analysis in my book, How Families Matter, with Pamela Brayboy Jackson. That was one of the biggest things we found about film, is that when we look at TV shows, we see children being raised by fathers, as if that's a good thing, of course, but as if that represents a large segment of society, when it doesn't. But in film and TV, we continuously see that trope in ways that sort of plays out. We saw that in this particular movie. Now, the second major point is the legacy of the Bohemian Jockey, that the first thing that was captured on film in terms of a video was a black man riding a horse. And this family actually owns a horse farm. They own a horse farm, and part of that is that they do a whole bunch of different things with the horses. They put them in movies, they put them in commercials, they also have different sort of exhibits. And the other big thing is that this family also has a lot of land in California. It reminds me of Bruce's Beach. If you aren't familiar with this, check out another video that I have where I'm talking about the legacy of Bruce's Beach, a black beach that was stolen from them and recently returned. Third point, cinematography. Look, Jordan Peele does an amazing job with cinematography. One of the big parts about this film is not only all the different colors and the aliens and all of that, but it is the t-shirts. It is Keke Palmer's boots. It is Daniel Kaluuya's hoodies. Look, the t-shirts were phenomenal. Look, obviously as a person who loves and embraces t-shirts, I noticed the t-shirts throughout the film. And Jordan Peele does a great job of throwing in aspects of the culture that come to life, no matter if you're on a farm, if you're at a sea, or even if you're in outer space, particularly if you're a black person. And we saw that in this particular film. The other big thing is that all horror movies, suspenseful movies, because I will say, even though this is being framed as kind of a horror movie, it's really in line with Get Out. It's spooky, I'll say that. Not necessarily horror, but does have some gory moments. But the other big thing about this type of genre is that they have comedic parts. And there were several comedic parts, interesting parts. Keke Palmer has several of them. She's a very entertaining, funny actress, and we saw that really come to light in this film. The other thing I'll say, look, if you're thinking about taking little kids, you know, I got little boys, it's not that scary to film, but the previews, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for some of these films. I'll be breaking them down that are coming out later on in 2020, but some of the previews were out of this world, spooky and scary, horrific. So just think about that if you plan to take your kids. Maybe you want to time it up a little bit in terms of what's going on there with taking your kids to the movies. All right, fourth major point, the alien. Of course, the alien is the big thing. We never really figure out where the alien came from. This kind of classic sci-fi type of films kind of makes me think along the lines of Signs. And accordingly, there are alien rules, as Daniel Kaluuya's character SJ says throughout the film. Loud noises seem to wake it up. You can't look at it in the eye. That's how it ends up attacking you. In other words, you can't look up at the alien because then it's going to come and attack you. The other thing, the alien takes out electricity. So if you're trying to record it, you have to think about how you're going to do it. That's why they got an old school recorder that did not require electricity. That was a large part of the film as well. Now, in line with Signs, because if you remember the movie Signs, these aliens that you really didn't know where they came from, you just know they came from outer space, they look spooky. Well, in Signs, they died by having water thrown on them. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix played a classic role where he's hitting glasses of water onto the aliens. That's what took them out. Similarly, with this particular film, what ended up taking the alien out? And first, I just gotta describe the alien. So first, it looks like a classic spaceship, right? Classic UFO. But then, as the movie went along, particularly at the end, it expanded to be this big, like, monstrosity. The head kind of looked like the head from the alien from Independence Day, and it looked like a big hot air balloon, which ironically ended up being the thing that killed it. That a balloon from this circus, from this sort of Western exhibit, went into the alien and blew up on the inside, and that's what took out the alien. But we really don't know where it came from. So in classic sci-fi genre, you have this big scary thing that is taken out in a lackluster way. I've always found this genre to let us down in that way, but Jordan Peele stayed in line with this particular genre. All right, fifth point. Jordan Peele continues to nail it. Look, when we started talking about the cast, the diversity of the cast, having black people who survive horror, suspenseful, sci-fi movies is always a big deal. Both main characters survived along with a couple of others. It was a very, very diverse cast, from having an Asian man who had various characters throughout, and who was also in character as an Asian boy who survived a chimpanzee, taking out everyone on the set pretty much except for him and one other person who has traumatic lifetime injuries. But the diversity of the cast just continued to reign through. You know, on this front, I want to make one point. There are a lot of people criticizing Jordan Peele for continuously casting Daniel Kaluuya, saying, oh, why don't you cast, you know, black American people? Well, I have a couple of thoughts on this. First off, Daniel Kaluuya is an amazing actor. I mean, amazing actor. You can't take anything from that brother. The second point, though, is that all of us come from the motherland. All of us come from the continent. So whether or not we were colonized on African soil and then migrated to the UK, or whether we were brought over in shackles and chains to the new Americas, we are all linked. And so as a community, we kind of have to think through the criticisms that we have. But overall, look, great film. I would definitely see it again. It continues Jordan Peele's genre of jumping into different lanes and being dominant. So look, continue to look out for my movie reviews, because Sociologist Ray movie reviews will definitely continue to grow as we move forward. So look, as always, conversations matter like Black Lives and books, and I hope this has sparked one. Continue to speak truth to power, be the change.